And so I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine.
Would you say you're pro-Palestine or pro-Israel?
Pro-Palestine.
As a gay man, I would be punished and or put in prison or killed if I were openly gay in Palestine. How do you react to that?
I didn't know that. So
It is illegal to be gay in Palestine. You are punished by
is
prison
it the
or
same
death.
as Israel?
No, Israel has gay pride. Israel is completely open to lesbian and gay people.
So that's where
Palestine puts them in prison or kills them. You weren't aware of that?
I was not aware of that. No. So that does pose an interesting aspect.
Have you seen the Queers for Palestine movement? It's a very common movement, but I don't see any Muslims for Queer movement.
Yes. That's where it gets gray, right? Like that's where I
Well,
feel
well,
like
for me, it's not gray. I am fearful of Islam because there is no Islamic country on earth that embraces me as a gay man.
so okay, so maybe I'm confused because Israel, which is still an Islam country, right?
No, 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 Jewish.
Okay. Okay.
So Israel's Jewish,
Uh-huh.
Palestinians are Islamic.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I okay, I know looks bad, but I am going to turn this on its head. I'm going to actually be optimistic about this. This actually there's something um I'm going to save this for you guys. Okay, so a lot of you might be laughing at this in the live chat, but actually this makes me hopeful. And I tell me before I tell you why this is good, why would I think this is good? Okay, because you think this is embarrassing. How ignorant can somebody be? Okay, but there's something. I'm a glass half full kind of guy, right? I'm gonna try to save this for you guys, and I'm gonna be telling you why this is actually something that you should be pleasantly surprised instead of being sad. I know a lot of you are saying this is pretty sad, but this is actually very good. But so just as wow, just wow. Okay, tell me why this is good. Tell me why this is good. But let's go from the beginning and listen to this again.
And so I did a study abroad in the Middle.
This is very interesting, okay, because a lot of you guys are laughing. How could she not know that Israel is not Islamic? Okay, it actually gets worse because she's saying, I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine. I don't know what it means with Israel and Palestine. Does she mean in Israel or Palestine? And Palestine, or with Israel and Palestine? What does that mean? I Because it would make sense if she said about or of or Israel and Palestine or in Israel and Palestine, but with Israel and Palestine, I don't know why would she say with? But anyway, she's been to the Middle East and she has done a study either in Israel and Palestine or about Israel and Palestine. It's not very clear. And she still doesn't know that Israel is not Islamic, or as she says, is Islam. Is Israel Islam? Oh God. Okay, but let's listen to it. Let's listen to it.
And so I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine.
Would you say you're pro-Palestine or pro-Israel?
Okay, so I know I'm very picky about this question, but I understand what it means. Okay, because it's safe to assume when somebody says I'm pro-Palestine, what they mean is they're anti-Israel and pro-Palestine. But I know that we're not significant enough at all to change this, but we're gonna try. Okay, pro-Palestine here on Atheist Republic doesn't mean anti-Israel. In fact, pro-Israel to us here, I know most other places you're either pro-Palestine or pro-Israel, but here on Atheist Republic, our standards are different. Okay, our standards here on Atheist Republic is that pro-Israel means that you're pro-Palestine. Okay, and pro-Palestine, to be pro-Palestine effectively, you need to be pro-Israel. Okay, so we're not anti-Palestine, we're anti-Hamas, and we're anti-Islam, and we want to save Palestine. We're pro-Palestine, and we want to save Palestine from Hamas and from Islamic ideology as much as possible. Not that it would be going away, but like just like make it reduced. I'm not going to get into the details of what I mean here, okay? But we're pro-Palestine here as well, and the best way to support Palestine is to support Israel, and especially Israel's attempt to get rid of Hamas ruling over Gaza. That's good not just for Israel, that's good for everybody, including Palestinians, right? So we don't pick between Israel and Palestine. We're anti-Hamas partly because we're pro-Palestinian. We're pro-Palestine, right? So let's see. But again, I know in this context they mean by pro-Palestine means anti-Israel.
Israel.
Pro-Palestine.
As a gay man, I would be punished
Oh, wait.
and or put in prison or killed if I were
Oh,
openly
wait. I cut through half her sentence. So let's go here.
and or put in prison or killed if I were
Why am I not going back?
as a gay man. Palestine or
Here.
pro-Israel?
Pro-Palestine.
As a gay man, I would be punished and or put in prison or killed if I were openly gay in Palestine. How do you react to that?
I didn't know that.
So here's the thing, you guys sometimes, and me also, make fun of people's ignorance, okay? But I am actually, I kind of like this woman, all right? She says, I didn't know that, okay? Ignorance is not as bad as you guys make it seem, it's not knowing something and acting like that's the problem, okay? The fact that she just immediately admitted ignorance, I actually celebrate that, okay? I mean, people are busy. People have their, I don't know how she managed to say this ignorant, even though she studied in the Middle East and studied Israel and Palestine. But okay, but normally people are just busy with their lives, okay? They're not like, they have children, they have work, they're busy. They're not activists. They can't just follow everything all the time. And when it comes to people who are ignorant, but admit that they right away that they're ignorant about something, I kind of like that, instead of like people who are ignorant and act like they know something, right? Act like they are informed, right? So the fact that she's ignorant and she admits it, and now she's asking questions so that she could clarify things and learn, that's good. So that's one point, to keep in mind. And that's one positive point. And let's go to the second positive point. Somebody's saying, I thought Armin was LGBT. No, but I think, if I could choose, I'm very, very straight. But if I could choose, I would choose bi, because that would mean twice the fun. But no, I'm unfortunately, I am a very, very painfully straight. But let's continue.
So
It is illegal to be gay in Palestine. You are punished by
is it
prison
the
or
same
death.
as Israel?
No, Israel has gay pride.
So she's like, isn't the same in Israel? And she's like, no, it's Israel has gay. I mean, to be fair, there are many anti-LGBT religious people in Israel, but Israel's laws and regulations are completely in support of, LGBT, and they have gay pride. Yeah, so that's all you need to know. They have gay pride. They're the only right now. I mean, I think at some point, one other country in the Middle East had gay pride, but they shut that down. I think it was Lebanon. Yeah, Lebanon had gay pride, but now Israel is the only country in the Middle East that has gay pride.
Israel is completely open to lesbian and gay people.
So
Palestine puts them in prison or kills them. You weren't aware of that?
I was not aware of that, no. So that does pose an interesting aspect.
Have you seen the Queers for Palestine movement? It's a very common movement, but I don't see any Muslims for queer movements.
Yes. That's where it gets gray, right? Like, that's where I feel like...
for me, it's not gray. I am fearful of Islam because there is no Islamic country on earth that embraces me as a gay man.
So, okay, so maybe I'm confused, because Israel, which is still an Islam country, right?
No.
So an Islam country. I don't know. By Islam country. Guys, is Israel an Islam country? Okay, I don't want to make fun of her. Okay. But okay, so I mean, so here's the thing. I know it's funny that she doesn't even know how to say it. It says Islam instead of Islamic. But look, she's curious. She's like, okay, I'm curious. I want to learn. Okay, we should celebrate that. That's good. That's great. Like, okay, she said, I'm curious. Israel, so she's asking questions. Okay, that we shouldn't be making fun of that. She's ignorant, yes, but she's trying to learn, so that's good.
Country, right?
No, Jewish.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I have a problem with that as well. I try to focus on Israel's secularism rather than its Jewish identity, because um, it's Jewish in majority religion, and it's Jewish in majority ethnicity, and I think none of that matters. It's a secular, not as secular as US or Canada, not at all as secular as France, but it's secularish relative to other countries in the Middle East. And I don't like using the highlighting the Jewish identity. I don't think that should be that could be the identity of individuals in Israel. I think it's very costly to Israel to have the Jewish identity for the entire country, right? Given that Israel is a secular country, I think more Israelis should embrace a secular identity for their country rather than a Jewish identity for their country, right? And a lot of people are worried that if Israel loses its Jewish identity, wouldn't that make it not a safe place for Jews around the world to come and see that, have that country as a place for them to be safe, given that level of hostility that exists against the Jews all around the world? And I think, like, and I know these are impossible dreams, almost impossible dreams, but again, I like to uh, fantasize about an Israel that has actually a constitution one day, that has that law, that this is part of the Israel's constitution, that Jewish people from around the world can come to Israel and get their citizenship and make this a safe place for all Jews around the world, so that the constitution has this law that is unchangeable. So even if Israel doesn't have to maintain a Jewish identity to be able to be a safe place for Jews around the world. So then Israel could stop calling itself a Jewish country, could call itself a secular country, but not be afraid of it not being a safe place for Jews around the world, because it has finally a constitution, and that is part of its law that is unchangeable, right? That is, again, I know I'm being so dreaming about things that will not happen, probably not happen, but hey, I like to dream. Let's continue with this.
So Israel's Jewish, Palestinians are Islamic.
Okay.
Islamic. Okay, so here's the second positive point. The second positive point I wanted to add, right? So the first positive point is that she's ignorant, but she's not claiming that she's not ignorant. She is aware of her ignorance and she's curious to learn. So that's the first positive point. The second positive point is that I'm hoping that this is a reflection of most anti-Israeli people, right? So that would make our job easier, right? Because imagine what would be the alternative? Imagine if people who are anti-Israel had a lot of information and they were anti-Israeli. Okay, so that would mean that even with the information, they're still anti-Israeli. But if a lot of anti-Israeli people don't have some basic information, that means that with that basic information, their views could change. That would mean that our job is a lot easier, right? If people, that means that with providing people with some basic information, we could switch their opinions. So that's another optimistic point. This woman is not questioning her views. Like, okay, I'm pro LGBT. Israel has pride. Palestine doesn't. Palestine has murder for LGBT instead of pride for LGBT. So maybe I should reevaluate my support. So that's great. That means that just like a few lines of information that somebody could double check could change their opinions. So again, two optimistic points. See how this is good. I turned something that you guys were sad about into something positive. That means that if this woman is reflective of a lot of other anti-Israeli people, that means that our job is a lot more easier.